I just witnessed the murder of my best friend on his TikTok livestream. When my friend Jake announced he would be doing another live stream on TikTok tonight, I thought it would just be another one of his boring streams. I just never could have known it would be the last time I'd see him alive. When his stream started, I noticed something about this that wasn't normal. There was a black and white framed photograph of two people smiling. It was my grandparents on their wedding day. I had seen it many times before as a kid, so immediately I knew exactly where this was. It was my grandparents' old farm. I tried opening the chat to talk to Jake and figure out what was going on and to demand him to tell me why he was there, but the chat was turned off. This was odd to me. Jake always had his chat on during his streams, and he loved talking to his viewers. This was much different from his usual streams, and I could tell something about this one was very wrong. I contemplated trying to call him, but for now I couldn't bring myself to look away from the stream in case something important happened. Slowly, Jake continued to move further into the living room. I began to see more and more things that I recognized from my childhood. A leather armchair, well worn in its day, but now the cushions were sunken in and the fabric torn beyond repair. The fireplace, exposed stone, and an enormous oak mantel, once the impressive focal point of the room, now warped and cracked. The person holding the camera was speaking. I'd hardly noticed as I was so wrapped up in a cloud of nostalgia and outrage at this space being invaded. I'd hardly noticed that Jake was speaking over all of this. Now, I know you all might be wondering where I'm at right now, he said in a grim tone. Well, I'm actually standing in the middle of something very personal to my best friend. Hi, Jessica. I know you're watching this, he said as he began waving at the camera. Chills immediately shot down my spine. Why was he doing this to me? Why was he standing in the middle of my grandparents' home? He knows what happened to them, and he knows that I hate when people talk about it. It was 4 years ago when a loud smash of a window woke my family up on that exact same farmhouse. I remember hiding under my bed, shaking as I heard the gunshots that killed my whole family. I was the only one that survived. I think about them every single day. As I looked back to the live camera feed, I saw Jake approach a solid oak door. It's hanging on one hinge, slightly ajar and swaying almost imperceptibly. I noticed before the Jake says aloud that there is a large cast iron horseshoe, big enough for a Shire horse or a Clydesdale, nailed above the threshold that I don't remember, but it suddenly feels important. I gripped my phone harder with a clammy hand, positive that he shouldn't go deeper into the depths of this house. Suddenly the comments were turned back on, and everyone else's reactions were just as worried as I was. With a shaky hand, I started typing a comment, telling Jake not to go in there and to just leave. As I was typing it, I saw him push open the creaky door. But just as I was about to press send, I heard his sharp intake of breath. "What the?" I heard him whisper. I dropped my phone onto the bed in shock. Standing side by side in the passageway are two gaunt figures dressed in nightgowns. They had wide grins that stretched across their pale skin. Where their eyes belong are only dark pits, holes that went straight into the depths of hell itself. Somehow worse than that, Granny and Grandpa were holding hands. It was unmistakably them despite their demonic manifestation. Though it's only a second, it felt like I stared into those twisted faces for half an eternity. All hell breaks loose on camera. Jake turned on his heel and ran back the way he came. The camera work fell into disarray as he bolted for the exit. But I swear in that fraction of the second as his phone whipped around, the creepily wide grins on their faces twisted into a grisly snarl. I was by my phone screen, listening to his heavy breathing as he tried running to an exit. He was close to the back door as long as he didn't turn the wrong way. 5 or 6 more paces and he'd be out. Then shockingly loud on the little phone speakers is an ungodly screech which made me jump about a foot off my bed. He had tripped and fallen to the floor and was clearly injured. Desperation grips my heart as I watched Jake struggling on the floor through the shaky camera feed. His heavy breaths mixed with the chilling silence of the old farmhouse. I was practically yelling at my phone, begging him to get up, to keep moving to escape. But he was disoriented, injured, and was struggling to regain his footing. Jake managed to prop himself up on one elbow and the camera panned across the room, revealing the grotesque figures of my grandparents standing just a few feet away from him. Jake's voice trembled with terror, his words barely coherent. "What do you want? Stay away from me." He shuffled backward slowly. The camera fell to the ground as Jake struggled to stand. He stumbled, a guttural cry escaping his lips as he clutched his injured leg. As Jake pleaded for his life, the figures reached out, their bony fingers elongating like grotesque claws, and the camera captured their touch. Jake instantly recoiled as if struck by an electric shock, his body convulsing uncontrollably. The figures started to pull, their fingers sinking into Jake's flesh. They continued to pull further and further before a loud rip pierced my phone. The pieces that were left of Jake slowly fell to the floor. As I prepared to swipe away, horrified by what I had just seen, one of the figures picked up the camera and said something that will traumatize me for the rest of my life. "Jessica, my dear, we've missed you."